Sarah.
Sweet. I kind of feel like a douche now because Sarah's actually mad over there, but I was kind of having fun. It was funny to me.
Oh, I know. I knew right when I seen that you started watching it. I knew you.
Oh, here comes that douche. She's gonna have stuff to say. No, but he said, "Well, what else gives us pleasure to eat?" And I was like, "Oh God, that's the greatest argument of all time. Butterfingers,
Right.
ice cream, anything, man, anything."
Yeah.
All right. Did you challenge this one specifically to talk about it, or did you just want?
A little bit of both. I mean, I didn't really necessarily want to challenge your topic. I just kind of want to get like
Right. I got you.
Because I mean, obviously, I don't know your stance, but just reading the issue, I don't necessarily agree with that. So I'd like to see like where you're coming from.
I think it's something you have to be kind of careful with because you don't want to tell someone you're not beautiful if you're not a certain size, right? Like you don't want to put that on them and shame them and have them feel like their worth as a person is dependent upon their physical attractiveness or body composition ever.
Right.
Because that's not only is it I don't know if I want to say immoral. It's just a super shitty thing to do. But aside from that, it's also wrong because people have different tastes in what they consider to be physically attractive.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that as a whole, our society is pretty lazy and pretty unhealthy in general. I was telling somebody earlier that it's really sad, but in our parents' generation, in the 70s, the life expectancy of someone in the 70s is 10 years longer than it is now, which is absolutely absurd when you consider all of the medical advancements that we've made.
Really?
Like that's an absolute statistical anomaly to me. Like I can't believe that's actually factual.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it's because the number one killers of people in our society are health related, primarily weight related. Heart disease and obesity and diabetes are some of the biggest issues there. Mm-hmm. And I think that our society is already set up for people to have a really hard time to actually live and be healthy, as far as time goes, availability of actual healthy options, gym availability, cost, and all those kind of things factor into it. Like it's kind of set against you. You have to work hard to be legitimately healthy.
Right.
And I think that saying the beautiful at any size mentality / movement, it just seems to be not only condoning unhealthy living, but kind of glorifying it too.
Right.
Like if you take an unhealthy person who's clearly unhealthy, physically showing that they're unhealthy by their weight, and then you go, you are beautiful. You're not saying you're still beautiful. Like your beauty isn't determined by your physical appearance, but you are saying that you're not only condoning unhealthy living, you're supporting it.
Right.
And I think that just continues us down this kind of slope that we're already on of everybody's going to be unhealthy. And this mentality is, oh, no, that's fine. That's great. It's beautiful. And it's just, it's a negative in my mind.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with pretty much everything you said. I mean, it's like the message shouldn't be that you're beautiful at any size. It's more like it doesn't matter what size you are if you're living healthy, then you're beautiful. Because I mean, there's definitely people that are bigger than other people just genetically, whatnot. I mean, there's people that have a far harder time losing weight than other people and stuff like that.
Truth.
But it does come down to the fact that, I mean, like you said, I mean, we're presented with so many unhealthy options, and not only that, but those unhealthy options are the easiest and the quickest, and the, I mean, even to a certain extent, the cheapest. So
yeah, usually the cheapest too.
For sure.
I think a better way to phrase what I think they might be trying to communicate is your self-worth. Your worth as a person is not diminished by your physical attributes. I think that would be like a better way to say what they're trying to say, that like our value is equivalent regardless of how we look physically. Like there's so much more to a person than just physicality.
Right.
Your intellect and your personality and
right.
etc. But to say that we're all beautiful across the board, I think is a problem for that reason, because it just condones unhealthy living.
It gives people that aren't trying to live healthy and that don't take any sort of initiative for the health of their own body, it gives them like a shield to almost like duck behind.
Yep, I think that's accurate. The comparison that I used earlier, that I want somebody to kind of to bounce it off of, but if we compare it to, say, intellect, right? and we say that everyone is equally intelligent regardless of your levels of education. Like if you're high school, then you're as smart as someone who's achieved a doctorate,
Right.
at a master's level and a bachelor's level and an associate's degree. We're all the same intellectually. Like I can't necessarily say that someone who's only graduated high school isn't as smart as someone who's graduated from a doctorate program, because intelligence is not measured by accumulated information. In the same sense that I can't say someone's more physically beautiful at this weight than at this weight. But it's a problem to say that, well, we're all equal regardless of what level we're on as far as health-wise or intellectually, our education levels, because then nobody has any desire to do anything past high school. Why bother?
Exactly. And that, I mean, I feel like that's a big problem with some of these issues nowadays is everything seems to be so black or white or yes or no, or you're on this side or you're on that side. And that's not how any of these issues are in reality. I mean,
accurate.
When you say that people are beautiful at any size, that's way too big of a generalization to possibly hold up across this many people.
And how dare you argue with that? How dare you say someone's not beautiful? So they can talk about it. Like the way that it's presented is
that's the arguments that they have, and those just don't hold up. I mean,
yeah, it's an issue.
Yeah, it is. We're oversensitized.
Yeah.
There's so many. Agree. I mean, all these, I don't know. I don't even know what to call them. Social justice warriors. I mean, special interest people, whatever. And the thing is, like, all those people have good interests at heart, but they take them way beyond too far. Right. And to the point where I don't know. It's the same with anything. It's the same with politics. I mean, people are so far left or right that they don't even hear what the other side has to say.
Oh, yeah, true. People only voted for Trump because I hated Hillary, or only voted for Hillary because I hated Trump. Yeah, I think that's a perfect example.
Who'd you vote for?
Trump.
Trump?
I'm in the military, man. Less than 1% of people in the military supported Hillary. Yeah, nobody likes Hillary in the military. Her corruption is consistent.
What branch?
Army.
Okay. Good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Respect.
Appreciate it, man. But yeah, nobody out here likes Hillary.
No, I can imagine. I mean, and I voted for Gary Johnson personally because
I couldn't handle Gary. He didn't seem like he took anything seriously. The fact that he didn't know what Aleppo was and couldn't name the leader of North Korea and flopped down on the ground in that one video and pretended to have a heart attack. Like, just come on.
That was beautiful, though.
I thought it was kind of funny. But, I mean, come on, dude. If Trump fell down and pretended he had a heart attack, the media would have talked about how much he was making fun of heart attack victims.
Right.
And thinks it's funny when people die of a heart attack. Like, just can we have some behavior across the board so that I can actually hear what you have to say, man? Because, I don't know. He's funny. I think he's funny. And I kind of liked Bernie, actually. I like Bernie, aside from because he's just like this sweet old grandpa that everybody should just make tea and get his slippers for while he sits in a chair and wants everything to be perfect. But he has some screwy views too. But why'd you support Johnson?
Honestly, and this is gonna sound stupid, but I paid very little attention to especially after it came down to Hillary versus Trump. Mm-hmm. As soon as I really heard that and it was really a reality, I mean, a part of me really couldn't take the whole election serious anymore because
there's just two candidates.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just remember listening to a podcast with Gary Johnson and the host. So it was basically like this conversation with me and you right now.
Just an interview?
Yeah. Okay. And it was 4.5 hours long. And I remember I listened to the whole thing. I remember thinking at the end of it, I don't think I could listen to Trump or Hillary or pretty much any politician I've ever heard speak for any amount of time talk, especially for 4.5 hours. And I mean, at the end of that, I thought like he's a very rational man. I mean, he's done good things in
Mm-hmm.
as a two-term state governor, and I don't know. I don't know. It kind of, I mean, I'm not very informed in that area, like with, especially with politics, because I just kind of, a large part of me thinks it's all nonsense. But,
A lot
and
of it is.
I think this election kind of exposed how nonsensical it really is. But
With the two-party system.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Because
So
like you were saying earlier, right? So there was a huge amount of people that voted for Trump because we can't have Hillary or vice versa.
right, yeah.
And I've talked to a lot, not a lot, but a few of those people on here, and what I tell all of them is there was other choices. You know what I mean?
I mean,
There
was
it,
there though?
there really is. I
I know
mean,
it's
there's
like
not
it's a conundrum because you have like third party people never win because nobody votes for them, and nobody votes for them because they never win. You know, like
exactly,
it's
exactly. So when you're left with two choice, so you're, because that's how it's presented, is you basically have two choices or you throw your vote away. That's how, I mean,
yeah.
that's how the country presents it.
Hmm.
So when you're left with two choices that I think the majority of people don't want either one, but the majority ends up voting for one of them because they're not the other, that to me sounds like there's no other options, but there really is. And I think a big, but and that is actually, I think the biggest problem is you don't hear about the other options. You know what I mean? The other options
Right.
don't make national news or don't get in the debates and things like
Hmm.
that. And I mean, to have a presidential debate and not have all the candidates in the debate just seems ridiculous to me.
Okay, I understand that. I get that. Do you So what do you think about what Trump did then, as far as not holding to stereotypical Republican values, but running on the Republican ticket?
I love
Because
it.
that seems more like the better way to do it.
I love it. I
I think
love it.
if Johnson might have ran as a Democrat, even if he didn't necessarily support everything on the Democratic ticket, that he would have had greater success.
As a Democrat.
Yeah, because even though it's still within that two-party system, if you run within one of those two platforms, then you have media attention, you have the debates that you have leading up to before you get the nomination, etc. And I
Right.
think Trump proved that somebody who doesn't hold to those stereotypical values of a certain party could still win that party's nomination.
For sure. For sure. And that's what I think it's going to take.
Yeah.
Whether it's Trump or not, I mean, I really hope Trump does great things. I really do. I mean, I think he can. I think he's got the business savvy and the intelligence to do it. But that's what, and that was my whole thing of why I mean, Hillary was the worst option, was because Hillary was everything that we can't elect. Because
Right.
I mean, I don't know, there's so much baggage behind her, it's
I
not
couldn't
even
believe she had any supporters after she raped Bernie of the nomination. I mean,
exactly.
I didn't know how there was anybody
that,
supporting her
that's
left at that point.
exactly, and that's why I don't know about you, but the night before the election,
Hmm.
I didn't think Trump had a chance in hell. I
No, I
really
didn't
did.
either.
I thought I was gonna wake up and Hillary won like comfortably, and then I
Oh
wake,
yeah, I figured she would get 300 maybe electoral votes.
yeah, for
300,
sure.
maybe 350. I thought for sure she'd
And
have
that,
that.
I think that's whether, I mean, people, I think that's people wanting something different
Yeah,
that
I agree.
bring to the table. I mean, Trump, people might be scared of it, or people might think he's racist or whatever. Like
Hmm.
he could really, really pass all these super racist things that people want to say he's going to pass is just
Right.
ridiculous. But
All of that's ridiculous.
it is.
It's absurd behavior.
It really
Like,
is.
I think what you were saying earlier about people and their over the top don't know if I want to say social justice warriors, because it's hard because you have people who just want to see everybody get along that
Right.
fit that category. But then
Right.
you have the people who are over the top about it, who just want to label anyone who disagrees with them as xenophobic, homophobic, racist.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a lot of why Trump won, is people as a whole got sick of hearing that.
Right.
Sick of hearing that, well, anybody that doesn't agree with everything I say, we're just going to stamp these labels on you. And they did that in 2012 with Romney.
Mm-hmm.
Bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for no reason at all. Like, I couldn't even believe some of the things that they were twisting and churning and trying to make it seem like Romney was a racist. And they did that again, and I think people were just sick of it. I
Yeah,
think that was a huge factor in it too.
for sure. I heard it honestly put the best I've ever heard it put on here last night. I can't remember who I was talking to, but they said it might even actually have been Sarah. I don't know. But she said, or somebody said, liberals try to classify everyone and then get mad when anyone else tries to do it because they're liberals.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of hypocritical behavior
For sure.
in there. I think a lot of these riots are a perfect example of that,
Yeah.
because that was Trump's stance for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. If I don't win, it's rigged, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're such a baby. You have to accept the outcome. You can't say that the system's rigged just if you lose." Blah blah blah. And then there's millions of people in the streets mad they didn't win.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And wanting
That's
to abolish the electoral college, when the electoral college helps the Democrats on an unbelievable level every single election.
yeah.
And they all cry racist against Trump when Trump won more minority votes. Most people don't know that still. He won a
Exactly.
higher percentage of minority votes, specifically blacks and Hispanics, than any other Republican running for president in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Literally in almost 3 decades. He won more than Romney, more than McCain, more than Bush both times he ran. Like, for being a racist son of a bitch, he sure got a lot of minority
Exactly.
support. I
Yeah.
think they kind of spoke for themselves there, guys. I don't know. As
How old are you, by the way?
old, I'm a grandpa. I have grandchildren.
So I'd say what, 25, maybe?
Yeah, that's actually right on. Good guess. Well done.
Damn. I'm a psychic.
I do feel like I'm the old man on this profile, though, aside from that super weird dude who
Yeah,
argues with
honestly, I would
mom's
say
country.
I would agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I take a way more rational approach than most to a lot of these debates. That's why you end up not even be able to talk to a lot of these people, because you can't
Yeah, I
talk
want to
to
talk
them.
about nonsense.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think it's a good app. I like it.
Oh, I love it. I've had I've had a lot of fun on it. I really
Yeah,
have.
I used to do this basically on Instagram. Like, I just try to talk with people so I could try to understand where they were coming from, but it would never go well.
Right.
All these trolls would come out of the closet whose profiles are on private, who would never actually show who they are or talk in person. It
Yep.
would just be a mess. But
Yep. And that's, I think that's the most important part about this app is, I mean, sure, it's like a debate app, but I don't really care to debate with any, I mean, I guess debate, but I'm more so like you said, I just want to see where you're coming from.
yeah, I think that that's super important.
Exactly, it is. I mean, this conversation we're having is important. I mean, this is a conversation that couldn't have took place. I mean, what, 20 years ago? I mean,
Right.
even necessarily maybe 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I think it's conversations like this that could really, and it sounds kind of stupid to say, but that's what's really going to change the way that society views how this whole thing is done. And it, I mean, all the way down to all these other little issues that are just kind of just petty little issues. But
I completely agree. Actually, I had this conversation with somebody earlier because I don't like BLM, just on their basic premises on why they have the stance that they do.
Mm-hmm.
But for a lot of people to see me, white male who doesn't like BLM, oh, he's just a racist, right?
Yep.
And some of the conversations that I have been really good, where people are like, oh, okay, I see why you think that way, like, and I see why they think the way that they do, and it actually involved communication is so important because anytime you're stuck in your own mind of thinking and only surrounded by people who think like you do, like that's the very essence of ignorance.
That is beautiful. That is fucking beautiful. I swear, I could not agree more.
So I think this app is great. I think it's a good idea.
I do too. I hope it catches on because it seems to me like I was just telling Sarah, but I mean, I feel like I see the same names on here every night. You know what I mean?
Oh,
At
I
least
think it's pretty new. I think that's why
that's
it'll
what she
gain more
said too.
attention.
And I didn't know how new it was. I just seen it on Twitter last weekend, so I went and downloaded
Yeah,
it.
same. That's when I downloaded it. I had never seen it beforehand.
Yeah,
But the fact that I was like promoted on Twitter, I thought was a good thing
yeah, yeah,
because it's being drawn more attention to it. So we'll see where it goes.
for
That's
sure.
why Sarah's on it now. She's just trying to cheat her way to the top of that leaderboard before it catches on.
She
I
doesn't.
figured out how she's doing it too. I figured it out. Here's what
I
she
figured
does.
it out too.
What'd you decide?
I decided she's an attractive girl, and basically the only
Uh,
attractive girl I've seen on here. So people are gonna click her more than they're gonna click me. To be honest with you, I mean every other debate I've been in, besides the ones with her, neither one of us get over like 100, 200 likes, and everyone with her, I mean, she's in the thousands, and I'll get maybe in the thousands or something, but I'll be way behind. But I mean, every debate with her gets way more attention than any of the other ones.
That's funny. You might be right though. There's an aspect to that that's probably true. I think what she's doing, and I'm not actually going to say this. I'm going to pull it out as a card on her later when I want to annoy her when she's having a dumb conversation with somebody. But I think what she's doing is she's like, no, let's start an open conversation, but not record it and just spend the whole time liking each other's pictures. I think her and little kitchen pantry boy do that.
I could agree with that, honestly, because it's kind of funny because if you go to her profile, the only conversations that she has recorded are with me, and those ones are the ones where she got like thousands and thousands of likes.
So you're the one. You're just sitting there smashing the hell out of that like
No,
button.
but that's what I'm saying is I'm the only one that I'm kind of agreeing with you, like that she hasn't like consensually said like let's just like each other up right now. And
Right,
we'll
no, that's
keep
fine.
talking. It's not recorded. No one can prove it. But with,
right.
and I told her in a couple of them, I was like, look, your shit's just flying up. I mean, people are just liking you over and over and over. And then it would stop, and then my number would start flying up, like someone just sitting there tapping it.
Yeah, somebody's doing that. That's funny, though. Hey, if you viewers have something you want us to talk to us about, shoot,
Yeah,
it's cool.
throw it out there.
This dude said a libertarian would never get the nomination from the Democrats. I don't think that's accurate. I think because if you're running on the Democratic ticket, you're running as a Democrat.
Exactly.
I mean, it would be hard if you ran as a libertarian and then ran as a Democrat maybe at the next election.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but if your whole stance was the fact that you think that the ticket needs to be diversified and somebody who holds to not those stereotypical values needs to be elected, then I think you probably get a lot of attention.
Libertarian. I don't know. I think the whole. It's weird because it's hard to know what information to trust anymore, no matter where.
Oh my God. And everybody's biased. Like it's almost to where it's like two kindergartners arguing, and you have to create a third story just to get an idea of what actually happened.
Yeah, exactly. It's uh
It's
I don't
crazy.
I don't understand it, and like I said, I hope Trump does all the best. I really do, but I just don't see how 4 years of Trump is going to lead to a less crazy election in 4 years.
In
Because I
2020?
think, huh?
In 2020?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel you on that.
I just don't. I mean, I think most rational people could agree this was the most chaotic, um, just like comedy movie type election,
Yeah.
as we've ever seen, and it seems like it's got to get better from there.
Well, I
But
think Trump will actually have a lot of success, not so much because of his stances on things, but because of the Republican controlled House and Senate.
for sure,
I think that
yep,
makes a big difference because they're going to establish a lot of things and repeal a lot of things. And that just
yep,
tends to be how our nation goes for as long as I've been alive anyway. It's 8 years of Democratic domination, and oh, we're sick of them. 8 years of Republican domination, and oh, we're sick of them.
right, right,
With
and that is, I mean,
Bush, then Clinton, and Bush, then Obama. And now it flip flops like that. So
mm-hmm.
a lot
And
of what's going to happen.
that's why Barack couldn't do anything in his second term, was he didn't have the House or the Senate.
Yeah,
So
right.
and that was almost one of my bigger why vote Hillary like things was, why would you vote a Democratic president when the House and the Senate are Republican?
Right.
I mean, good ideas or bad ideas, it takes ideas to get things like changed or done. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to block someone's ideas before they can even ever go into effect, you're never going to know if it was a good
Mm-hmm.
idea or if it was a bad idea. So as crazy as he might sound or seem, or as the media portrays him, let somebody get in there and do something versus just
Yeah.
spinning our wheels for another 4 years and doing basically nothing, just trying to keep the status quo the same. I mean,
I like him though. I think he's funny. I think the
I
fact that he's a billionaire businessman makes him kind of a pompous, arrogant asshole. But aside from that, I think he's kind of funny. I think he says the truths about a lot of things that people don't like to hear. Like,
exactly.
remember that whole issue with the Mexican judge and how he said that that judge shouldn't be in that position because he's Mexican.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, "Oh my God, that's so racist." No, it's not. It was a race-related case. It's called bias.
Yeah.
Like,
And I mean, that goes back to it. I mean, people are so quick to get just butthurt
yeah,
about everything. I mean, literally everything. It just blows my mind, to be
agreed.
honest with you. I mean, people are so, I don't even know if the word is closed-minded, but that's really what it is. I mean, people just they subscribe to one side and they don't even want to hear the other side.
Yep.
That I think is the biggest problem with the two-party system,
Yeah.
is you end up having people on this side or that side, and if you're on that side and I'm on this side, I don't even want to hear anything you have to say
Yeah.
because it's wrong. And that's just, I mean, how, how do you do anything on that mentality
You
as a
can.
country?
Right.
I mean,
You just teeter back and forth between two extremes and you never actually accomplish anything.
exactly. Exactly. And this is what I was just telling her was, damn it, I just lost my train of thought. If I don't know. It might come back to me here in a minute.
That's all right. That's fine.
I'm waiting for my iPad. I've been, ever since I got this app, like I've been, because I get on it on my phone. So I've been, I don't have a laptop. So, and there's all this information in my head that
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
know I've read somewhere or heard somewhere. But when you just say, like, I've read this here or I've heard that somewhere or whatever, it
Doesn't
doesn't
sound
get taken
believable.
seriously by
Yeah.
anyone unless you have like a source.
The actual source.
Yeah.
That
So last night I tried turning my iPad on for the first time in like 4 or 5 months, and I don't remember the passcode.
Damn.
So I've been trying to figure it out all night, and I was locked out for 60 minutes. I got 20 minutes left, and I'm pretty fucking sure that I have the
Yeah, you
right
know
pass.
what it is this time.
I'm pretty sure.
Can't you log into your iCloud and recover that password through your phone?
Well, the
You have
problem
an
is
iPhone?
I do have an iPhone, but this iPad it actually is my friend's
Oh, okay.
that he's just left here
Gotcha.
forever. So
That would be
pretty
the
sure I
problem.
got it. I'm pretty sure it's 5545.
Don't
So
tell me now. I'm going to steal your iPod and I'll be able to access it.
go ahead. Hey, where are you from, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
Detroit, Michigan.
No shit.
Yeah.
Good man. I'm
Most
from
people don't say that.
what? Where they're from?
No, don't say that being from Detroit's a good thing.
Oh fuck yeah! I love Detroit. I'm from. I don't know if you know where Big Rapids is.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yep, I'm from Big Rapids. I
Hell
love
yeah.
Michigan. I love Detroit.
I'm about to get to come back there for a couple of days finally. I get some block leave, and I'm not looking forward to all the snow you guys are getting, though.
Yeah, we're getting. Yeah, it's let up a little bit. It was blowing around today a
Yeah.
lot. We haven't got much snow, but the snow we got's been just blowing around. I have to plow, so
Gross. I haven't seen snow in 2 years, and I'm
no
not
shit.
excited about it.
Are you from Michigan? You're not from Michigan originally, then, are you?
Yeah, I mean, in the military, I'm lived down south. I've been in Georgia and North Carolina, and
Okay.
obviously there's no snow over in the Middle East. So,
Have you been over there?
yeah, for a little while.
Really? Where at?
I'm not supposed to say too much. Parts of Iraq and Afghanistan.
What's your like job or whatever?
Um,
Are you like top secret or what?
not top, but moderately.
Ooh. So, I mean, give me an idea of what it's like over there.
Over in the Middle East,
Yeah.
I mean, it's super chaotic. There are, for a lot of people in the military over there, they don't really, you don't see a lot of action at all because it's all about jurisdiction, and we don't have any in Iraq and Afghanistan. The number one thing we're doing over there right now is trying to train indigenous populations to fight for themselves, so we don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of just existing. The culture is so different; it's really weird. The a lot of thing that was it's kind of a touchy, weird subject, but one of the things that people often that was the hardest thing to get used to over there is let me figure out the right way to word it. Women are used for child rearing and men are used for pleasure, specifically boys. So you have these little 10, 12-year-old boys that are prostitutes running around touching you and shit. It's super weird.
Oh my god.
Especially in parts of northern Afghanistan. It's that's just how it is, man. It's wild.
Damn. So you must be
But a
like,
lot of the people are super nice. They love you. Like they just want to trade with you or come up and touch your boots because they think they're cool. They look at your equipment. The kids want to, play football with you.
mm-hmm.
People say that we're so super hated around the world, but that's just what you see in the media. People love us, man.
Yeah, for sure. So
You see all the
you must be like fairly, you must be like a fairly high ranking officer then, I would assume, right?
not yet. Nope,
Oh,
not super high ranking. The way this program works, it's a lot of training and short stuff, so that later on you assume command over things. There's the difference between the officer and the enlisted side.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So officers in the infantry usually are pretty high ranking because it takes them a while for someone to actually give them control because unless they've actually spent time as a grunt doing stuff. But yeah, I've got to do some fun stuff, man. I'm airborne qualified. Um, yeah, a lot of different schools and stuff I've got to go to. So it's been good. I've enjoyed it.
That's cool. I
Real
mean,
fun.
it is cool. I I I had no interest in joining the military until I don't know, basically up until like a year or two ago. I'm 20
Yeah,
now,
gotcha.
but I don't know. And I don't and it sounds weird because as much as I respect all you guys and what you do for us and everything like that,
Hmm.
I think a lot of times the interests are wrong, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Obviously, I'm a little biased about that, and I want to believe the best of everything. But I'm
Yeah.
realistic with myself enough to know that that's probably not the case. Like there's probably some truth to certain aspects of that that I don't have any idea about and wouldn't have any idea about
For
because of
sure.
how many levels there are between me and them. So,
And see, and yeah, and I'm even further removed from that. You know what I mean? Than you.
right, yeah.
I mean, you're even closer to that. I have no idea, basically, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Uh, I love the idea though that we have people like you, and I mean, every heroes basically that are out there like truly trying to protect our freedom. I just don't think that our freedom is necessarily always the interest.
It's not always at stake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that. I really do. I get that. I actually had a conversation with somebody earlier about that who was saying, I think it was mind over matter. That guy. He was saying that a lot of the wars that we fight are actually for oil or for other resources.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's something I strongly disagree with because I don't think there's any evidence to support it. Like we get most of our oil actually from Saudi Arabia and from Alaska and Texas. So if you look at where we get our oil from as far as shipments go, like maybe if we'd taken over Iraq and Afghanistan and then all of a sudden canceled our contracts with the Saudis and created new ones with the Iraqis, then you could say that there's something to that and look more at it. But I think a lot of people in the military say that they don't fight for people back home, they fight for their other brothers eventually because you get to a point where you don't necessarily know the intentions for everything, but you don't have that option either. You do what you're told
Right.
and you just follow those orders. So whether or not there's ulterior motives as a whole to what our government does, maybe there is, maybe there's not. I don't know. I obviously want to think the best of it so that I don't feel like I'm wasting my life by being a part of this or that I'm.
Exactly.
But I mean, I'm sure there's some truth to both ends of it.
Right. And that I mean that's what's so sinister about the other ideals is I mean you have bright young men like you and I mean a lot of good people that are believing in this country and they think that they're signing up to defend this country and everything like that. And I mean
If it's not true, it's pretty awful because you're taking advantage of someone's patriotism and genuine goodwill
right.
in order to turn them into robots. Yeah, I agree.
I think that I mean I don't know if you heard I think I just said it on the other argument with her, but I think we should have a global government. I mean, I don't think that it would work right now based on
Right.
how human beings behave, but I think if I look at an ideal world, I don't see how there's not a global government.
Yeah, I agree, actually. I think that it's impossible to put into place right now, and I think humans as a whole are so corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for all of time, it would be significantly more. I don't know. It would just be better all around for everyone involved if there was a global government.
Yeah.
Talking about distribution of resources, avoiding all the deaths of fighting wars, plagues, famines. We can all just help each other out and coordinate and cooperate and exist together in utopia.
Yeah.
Like that's always been the best option, and I don't think that that's a new idea. That all of a sudden we're just like the first group of people to realize that this would actually work out a lot better if we all got along, right? But throughout the entirety of time, there's breakdowns because people are greedy, people are corrupt, and I mean, even down to the smallest little examples of like villages. Like even villages couldn't cooperate and share resources from small areas. They had to try to conquer each other and eliminate
Right.
each other so that they could dominate that region.
Right.
So I don't think it would ever happen. But in a perfect world,
Well,
absolutely.
so do you think that that's like a an evolutionary step that human beings could take?
I think that as we are evolving as a species and we're continued to, it seems to be that we're just whatever meeting what our next needs are. For example, 200 years ago, nobody in the United States would have thought about, I want to visit my family across the country and only take me 10 hours to get there. That
Right.
wasn't the need.
Right.
Our needs were everybody needs to be farming and agriculture needs to be our number one priority as a nation. So that's what everybody did. School wasn't important, those kind of things. But as we continue to meet needs and progress, we're continuing to find new needs and meet those challenges and then progress again. It's a
Mm-hmm.
cycle that we're living through. So maybe an evolutionary step eventually, if we eliminated all of those other needs, to where resources, food, water weren't a problem, territory wasn't an issue, those kind of things weren't issues anymore, then I think it would be an inevitability. But I can't imagine that ever happening. That would be crazy.
Seeing when you just rattle off those issues, right? So food, water, and territory, basically, right?
Yeah.
Food and water are not an issue if the globe came together.
Right.
We
I
have
agree.
enough food and we have enough water.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, all you're left with is territory, and all you're left with is people that are fighting over. And I mean no disrespect to the U.S.
No, you're good, man.
government or anything, but to say that we're going to go to war with Iraq, or we're going to go to war with Afghanistan, and you have all these like hardcore patriots over here that are saying like, yeah, we need to go and we need to neutralize them, or we need to reform them or whatever. But what they don't get is, by saying we're going to go over here and do that, over here is here. It's just over there, if that makes any sense. I mean,
Yeah, I understand. We have some of the same issues and problems.
and the world is the world. I mean, and it goes all the way back to like environmental change, where I think the only way we're going to ever really clean up our environment is if we come together as a globe and do it. But you can't you there's large amounts of humanity that are just basically forgotten. I mean, Africa is pretty much forgotten, at least by the US,
Yeah,
because they have no resources left for us to take.
for us to take. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. This shit just gets so complex. It really does. No matter what way you try to go. I mean, but it just doesn't seem like rational thinking is what is running the world.
No, it's not. It's entirely based on individuals, and individuals will always be corrupt, I think, or at least always have been. That's safe to say.
For sure.
Because
100%.
even if we could equally distribute resources, somebody somewhere would be trying to hoard them. Somebody somewhere would be, no, I want more for myself and for my group. That's always how it's been,
Right.
sadly.
And that's why I say, like, and that's, I kind of feel like we're one, because when I say like we're one evolutionary stroke away from being there, to being
Mm-hmm.
able to share everything with everyone and looking out for the whole world, not just your little patch of land.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if, I mean, we're aware of it right now. I mean, like me and you are sitting here talking about how this is wrong and that's wrong. So people are aware of it, and we've created beautiful things. I mean, we've made beautiful progression in all sorts of different industries and things like that. If we just turn the ship towards that, I think that we could do it. And I think we're smart enough to do it right now. So
Yeah.
it's not even almost like an evolutionary step, because we're already smart enough to do it. We're just not culturally ready to accept that we should we should really all globally be on the same page.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know.
I'd like to see it happen. It'd be sweet.
I would love it. I mean, I just like to see something happen. I mean, I feel like so much of what happens, that's why I don't really try to pay too close attention to the news. Is, I mean, you flip on the news and it's all just negativity. I mean, it's all just terror and
Yeah.
chaos in the world. And the world doesn't have to be that way. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can look around the world and find all sorts of beautiful examples of humanity and people taking care of each other. And I mean, but that's not what we focus on for some reason.
Yeah, and again, that comes back to that human corruption, and even not necessarily just about hoarding of or wanting to hoard resources or to be the most powerful. Like it's just some of it's just innate competition, some of it's religious aspects, some of it's there's so many different facets to it, and it's such a convoluted issue that I don't know if there's definitely no simple solution.
Oh
And I
no.
don't know if there's
No,
any solution at all.
simple solutions are long gone.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know.
Hey, bro, I got a meeting. I got to get to at 10, so I got to bounce. But I'll be back on later and I'll holler at you guys.
All right, good
All right, man.
talk, my friend.
Good talking when you can.
Yes, sir.
I'll see you.